Preferred Company. It's about home health care.
Preferred's a friend you can depend on. Home health care with feeling. We're a part of the family, the way it ought to be. I preferred home health care. You're in Preferred Company.
Here is your radio host, Joel Markell, president and founder of Preferred Home Healthcare and Nursing Services, and co-host Marianne Levy.
We have Mary Kaba Valis, who is what was the fundraiser for that you won the guest co-host spot here?
So we were actually raising money for Tom's River Field of Dreams.
Mm-hmm. And what is Tom's River Field of Dreams?
So Tom's River Field of Dreams, and I will not do this justice. So for all who are interested or even just to help advocate, please go to your World Wide Web or to Facebook and put in Tom's River Field of Dreams. It is an amazing complex that they're building over by the Bailey Golf Course in that area by the police station. Mm-hmm. The Township of Dover gave them 3 acres of land, and they're developing it for children and adults with special needs.
I think that's so great.
It is amazing. So everything is rubberized for people who have walkers, wheelchairs, whether they're children.
Let me interrupt. Now, we got the golf course.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got the playground.
Yes.
We got the police station on the other side. So where is this Field of Dreams going?
So we're across from the golf course where the police station and the fields are, right in that area.
Okay, but the police station's on one side and the field's on the other.
Right.
So it's going to be on the field. Obviously, there's no room by the police station because you got your shelter, police station. So it's going to be across the street by the playground.
No, actually kind of behind the police station then. Not where that castle playground is, but where the soccer fields are in that area.
Okay, yeah, so by the playground though.
Right, yes.
Oh, no, wait a minute. You're talking now behind the, like the youth center?
Yes,
oh,
back there.
Okay.
It's in that area. So they'll have walking paths with stations that people could stop at to do therapy.
Uh-huh.
They'll have a playground for children who need the extra assistance, like with zip lines and where if they have to go up a slide with their wheelchair, the wheelchair will come back down. If you're a single parent with your child who has handicap issues and you bring them down the slide and then, you can't be with them to hold them, you have to go get the wheelchair. So they're really thinking of all kinds of...
Now, wasn't this all started because of a gentleman whose son was hurt in an accident?
Yes.
See, I'm doing this from memory now.
Well, you're good. So the founder is Christian Kane, and he is a teacher at High School North.
Right.
And several years ago, he and his then, I think, 3-month, young son, Gavin, were on their way to the school to drop off some paperwork during the summer, and a big truck did not stop at the light or side blinded them, whatever the case was. And it really, Gavin is just so blessed to be alive. This family has, I believe, 4 or 5 other children. So it's a pretty sizable family, and just trying to cope and make ends meet and do what's best to give their son Gavin as normal a life as possible to just enjoy the simple joys that other children get to enjoy. Mm-hmm. And we don't have anything in the Ocean County area. There is a great Field of Dreams complex like this down towards Atlantic City, down that way, but it's quite a way to travel if you're from Ocean or Monmouth or any of our neighboring counties. So he's been working hard to collect money and, have different fundraiser events going on so that he can get the funding to get this up and going.
Do we have a date?
We do. They are scheduled to break ground this fall, September, October.
Okay.
So they are in the process of finishing up getting all of their permits and all of the good stuff that you have to do something, a project this big.
You know what? That is so great because, like you said, handicapped children, adults. You go to a park. You go, especially let's say you're a parent, God forbid, but you're a parent of a handicapped child. The child is in a wheelchair. You can't just pick that child up, put him on a swing, and push him.
Right.
You can't put him on top of a slide and let him go down.
Right.
So this is going to be all acclimated towards the handicapped to where, God forbid, they do fall. It's all rubber on the bottom.
Yes.
It's easy gripping.
Yes.
It's you're going to be able to actually take the wheelchair and put it, let's say, on the zip line.
Yeah.
And they'll be able to enjoy like some semblance of a childhood, although they really,
Absolutely.
they don't have their own 2 legs to stand on.
They'll have miniature golf, bocce ball, basketball, baseball, all rubberized, so people can enjoy this.
Now, will this be open to the public?
It is open. Will be open to the public, to anyone, free of charge. They're going to have a pavilion where they'll put on art shows and music festivals.
Wow!
They're gonna. They even
This
have
is
a
my
quiet
backyard
area
here.
with a fountain for that type of, for somebody who might get overwhelmed or anxious easily. They can, go and spend time reflecting or praying or just sitting in that quiet area instead of a family having to pack up and leave. They really have thought of everything. Or even in the case, let's say the children don't have a handicap, but, grandma has a wheelchair or walker and she can no longer enjoy the pleasures with her children at the park. This will accommodate everyone.
Wow, I'm really looking forward to this.
Definitely go online and look it up. There's a virtual tour that is amazing. I am not doing it justice with my explanation, but it's truly amazing. And Christian Kane is happy to come and speak to any group, to share this information with them and just bring an awareness, because it's so grassroots and so new. It's just nice to let the public know this exists in case they need it or in case they want to help in some way.
I think that's so great.
Yeah.
I really, really do. I mean, just our town really could use something like that. Every town could use something like that.
Definitely.
Last night, watching my granddaughter's graduating class, there were a few, even though they were a very small graduating class, there were a couple in there that, were special needs. And it's not the same. You see your child, let's say I see my grandchild walk on the grass in line, in procession, sit down in her seat, where her classmate has to be pushed on there by a wheelchair.
Right.
Nothing is more important than the health of a child.
Absolutely.
If you have a healthy child, you have everything. You have nothing to complain about.
Sometimes we take that health for granted. We just think that's the way it should be or that's the way it is. And it's nice to have these reminders, unfortunately not at the expense of other people who have these challenges. But the challenges are so great, and when you're not faced in them or put in those shoes, you don't really think about them.
Well, one of her classmates last night received an award, and he did a speech, and he's a 2-time cancer survivor of leukemia and lymphoma.
And this was the student.
This was a student. He had such a great attitude. And the things that he said, you go to things like this and you're just like, okay, come on, move on with the speeches. Let's get going. I wanted to just sit there and listen to him. And basically what he said in a nutshell was, just don't rush your life. Appreciate what you've got today. Don't worry about tomorrow because you've got no control over it.
That's true.
You've got no control. And this kid brought tears to my eyes that he had such an attitude that he went into remission twice with leukemia and lymphoma. And he's up there and he's got this big smile on his face because he knows what it's like to be able to now enjoy his life.
And that is such a blessing, Marianne, when someone can wake up with that attitude of gratitude at any age and just enjoy, waking up and saying, thank you for the air in my lungs. I'm going to make this the best day ever because I don't know that I'll be here tomorrow or the people I care about will be here.
But we're human, though. That's just it. We are human, and we do get upset. And we do worry. I'm a big worrier about things that haven't happened yet.
Like somebody's shoelaces being untied.
Now you're worrying for him because you didn't want him to trip or fall.
Right.
That's consideration, okay? Worrying is about, okay, what if? What if are the two biggest words, what if?
Right.
Well, you can't worry about what if.
Right.
And Bob always has this saying, he always had this saying, he says, you got plenty of time to worry about the bad stuff when it happens.
Absolutely.
But I am not I don't have a strong enough mind to do that. I am the worrier.
I used to worry about everything like that, things that you wouldn't even know if they'd ever happen. And my mom would say to me, worrying doesn't empty today of sorrow. It empties tomorrow of your joy.
Oh,
and
wow.
I don't know if she invented that saying or
It's
if it's
a
from
good
somewhere,
one.
but it's like, we're worried about things that may never happen, and worrying about it isn't going to help. And she would say, instead of worry, replace that with prayer.
Right.
And that message has served me well over
I
the years.
just saw that saying last night. Did you post it?
I don't know. I post a lot.
I know. Well, you're like me. You're like, we inundate everybody with everything. Me with dogs and you with, just glitter and power of positive thinking. But they said something. What did you just say? Not the power of prayer. If you take the time.
Yeah. Instead of taking time to worry, take that time for prayer.
To pray.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
definitely.
That's a great saying.
Yeah, and you're right. We're human, and sometimes we need to visit the pity party. We just can't pack our bags and stay night after night after night.
Yeah, you have to.
So, I try to be as positive as I can, but a few weeks ago, I had a little bit of a meltdown, and I posted that this is not going to be my usual cheery post, that I was disappointed in some things, some people, the way things were going, and if you call me today, I'm going to be cranky. So I put the warning out there, and I gave myself that day. Otherwise, you stuff it all in until you think you're going to explode.
You do.
So I said, I'm giving myself the day to be cranky. And then 6 o'clock came. I looked at my watch, and I said, the day is over. I'm done. I put it in the let it go bucket, and it was over.
Yeah, I've been trying to do stuff like that. I really have. And I let people know ahead of time, hey, listen, you don't want to talk to me today.
Right.
You really don't. It's not a good idea.
Pleasant.
I am holding my own pity party. I'm not trying to bring anybody down with me, but
Nobody's
I'm just
invited.
letting you know. Yeah, everyone's got their own problems.
Right.
Everyone's got something. And I say, my life should be as happy as people portray on social media. Because they only post the good stuff. You see the family on a beach. You see the family at a barbecue.
Right.
You see somebody buying a new car. And you think to yourself, wow, they got it all. When in fact, they've got problems too.
They're just not airing their dirty laundry.
Right. And nobody really wants to hear your dirty laundry.
That's true.
But just keep in mind that nobody has that perfect life.
Yeah.
Everyone's got some sort of problem along the way.
This is true. So part of who I am, I started a movement called #ModelYourMug. And what is that?
I don't know. I'm asking you. What is that?
I love my coffee.
Okay.
And
well,
I love
so do
drinking
I.
from my inspired mugs that I had, started a collection years ago when I worked in the grade school. And at Christmas time, all the students gave you coffee mugs or something like that. So I had a lot of mugs. And over the years, people gave me fabulous mugs. So I enjoy my coffee at home and thinking of the person who gave it to me. Well, my husband said, you have more mugs than the diner. Can we stop with the mugs?
Okay.
So I said, okay, instead I'll collect pictures of me with handsome young men. And now I'm thinking I should put them on a mug. But anyway, I decided life is too short to drink from a boring white mug. So I actually bring my mugs out to diners and restaurants and meetings. I have my choice coffee mug today. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine.
Oh, I send that to my granddaughter.
And this is great. So someone special gave this to me. So when I drink from it, I can enjoy it. So I encourage people to show your uniqueness. And if you have a favorite mug, take a picture of your mug with your mug, your face with your mug, and put it on the computer on Facebook for everyone, and #ModelYourMug. And so keeping it real, because it's not always happy, fluffy, whatever. I'll do it a lot of times when I wake up. My hair isn't combed. I've not showered.
Well, see, that's another thing. Yeah, that's another thing. People put up there and they've got the filters and all this. And I'm like, well, how do you look so good all the time? It's like, well, because it's a filter. But we're all wash the face and we're all the same underneath. You are listening to Preferred Company. Mary Kaba Valis, sitting guest co-host. Are you enjoying yourself so far?
I am enjoying myself.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right. Well, we're
you.
going to take a little break and then we're going to be right back.
All right.
Back to Preferred Company with your hosts, Joel Markell and Marianne Levy.
I preferred home health care. You're in preferred company.
We have with us right now return guest, special guest, Dr. Anna Yusim. Good morning, Dr. Yusim.
Good morning.
Good morning, Marianne. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys again.
Well, we're very happy to have you back. Now, we have a special co-host today, guest co-host today. She is sort of along the same lines of you, but not along the same lines of you, if you understand what I mean.
We're the same but different.
Yes. Dr. Anna.
Hi, good morning.
Mary is a
Mary.
certified life coach, and she won a guest co-host spot here on Preferred Company. She's sitting in with us this morning, so she might be butting in on what you say, which is wonderful because you two, again, are kind of like on the same wavelength. Tell our listener friends.
Wonderful to me.
Tell our listener
Thank
friends,
you, you
Dr.
too.
Anna, who are you?
So I am a psychiatrist in Manhattan, and I am also a lecturer at Yale Medical School, which is where I went to medical school way back in the day. And I recently wrote a book about the intersection of psychiatry, my profession, and spirituality, entitled Fulfilled: How the Science of Spirituality Can Help You Lead a Happier, More Meaningful Life.
Okay. Now, we have spoken a number of times with you, and I've told you I have.
About becoming aware of your thoughts, labeling them, and then making the choice to relate to your thoughts in a different way. Rather than your thoughts coming into your mind and taking residence there and leaving when they're ready, you choose to put them on a cloud and watch them float away when you're ready to release that thought.
Oh, let me ask you a question. How does someone, all right, Dr. Yusim, you're in the city. Me, Marianne Levy, I have pressure problems or whatever. What brings me to you? Like, how would I go to look for you? Would I say, oh, I need a therapist? Do I need a psychologist, a psychiatrist? And how are you going to be able to treat me? How do I find you in the first place?
Right. And so patients come to me for all different reasons, and usually it's motivated by some form of pain and suffering. And that could be anything. That could be a mental health diagnosis like anxiety or depression or OCD, but it also could be life stress, transition stress, getting a new job, having a difficult boss, having relationship issues, or recognizing that the same pattern keeps coming up in your life over and over and over, often much to your chagrin and dismay, and despite your best efforts to change it. And then, in addition to mental health, in addition to transitions, some people come because they want to grow as a person, and they're like, I've been working on myself in many ways, and I want to take it to the next level. I want to integrate psychology and spirituality and really open myself up to deeper levels of my own authenticity and what I'm meant to do in this world. So really, it's for those three reasons that people seek me out.
All right. Now, me losing my husband a few months back, I suffer from a little bit of depression. I'm going through guilt. I'm going through anger. I'm going through all these different phases. Do people seek you out for something like that also?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And first of all, my heart goes out to you, Marianne. And we've talked before about what you're going through and the grief that you're experiencing. And the fact that you just came right back on the radio shortly thereafter, I think also shows your strength and your capacity to survive despite the grief, despite the loss. You're getting back into life, which is really one of the best things that you can do. And yes, people come with grief all the time to see me.
Well, the one of the main reasons, and I'm going to give credit to our listener friends and my family here at the radio station, the reason I came back because I felt support. Like, I didn't want to just stay home. I stayed out a week. I just didn't want to stay home and be morbid and wallow in my own grief. I needed the support of our listener friends. I needed the support of my family here at the radio station. And that was my therapy, besides my dogs, is coming back here to work because they all knew Bob. They know me. I've been here for 22 years, so it was my support coming back here. I don't think it was so much my strength. I got the strength from the people that surround me.
I think that's so, so beautiful. And, what are the things that help people to overcome grief? Number one is social supports. It's having people who love you, who accept you, who help you to fill the void by the person who, the void created by somebody leaving your life. That's number one. And number two is a sense of purpose. You coming back to do this work, you have a mission in this world to share your light with all these people every day, and that's what you're doing. So I think that combination of the social supports and living a life of meaning through your work are probably two things that helped a great deal.
I think when you can relate to somebody, because we all know, we all know we've lost somebody, whether it be a mother, a father, a child, God forbid, a spouse. Now, I didn't have that before. I have that now. So I can relate to listeners, and listeners can relate to me because of that.
Absolutely, right. Because you can't have empathy. I mean, you can have sympathy if you haven't gone through it yourself, but true empathy is something by only knowing the pain yourself through having gone through something like that. And grief is one of those things. It's part of the human condition that everything ends in this world, right? Everything, meaning every relationship, meaning our lives, meaning everything that we undertake. Endings is the nature of life. And so, of course, we're all eventually in our lifetime going to experience that. And it's part of what enables us as human beings to rally our capacity to support each other and to love and to find deeper meaning in what is left behind if someone that we deeply love passes.
Do you think women suffer more guilt in the death of a husband than a husband does in the death of his wife?
I don't think that there's too much of a gender difference in that as far as I'm aware. I think that, and also I'm curious, Marianne, can you talk a little bit more about the guilt? When you say that you suffer guilt, what do you mean by that?
Well, first of all, he wasn't expected to die. Okay. He wasn't supposed to. He was supposed to be going back for therapy. His death was sudden. And my guilt is that the last thing I said to him, my last words to Bob were, they had come in to do a procedure, and he looked at me and said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'll be right back." He goes, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going downstairs to call the puppies to let them know you're okay." Those were my last words to Bob, and 4 minutes later, he had died. I feel guilt and anger that I wasn't able to sit there, hold his hand. Everyone should be with somebody at death. I wasn't there to comfort him. I wasn't there to tell him I love him. I wasn't there. And these are things that are really, really still eating at my soul, that my last words to him were, "I'm going to call the puppies to let them know you're okay." And there's guilt and there's anger still there. And I know a lot of listener friends can relate to that because you don't always get that chance to say goodbye.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think what you're saying, it makes so much sense. And from wherever he is right now, I'm sure that he knows that in your heart of hearts, you love him, you care about him, you wish you could have said goodbye. And in a way, that last moment of someone's life, like he described, is in a way, even though, of course, we want to be there with the people that we love in their passing, it's a footnote on the life that you already had together. Your love, even though it's the last moment you had together, isn't contained in that moment. It's contained in this beautiful life and all the things that you did over all the years that you did share.
So, listener friends, if you have any questions for Dr. Yusim, 732-505-1160. Only I can talk to her about myself. I can't talk to her about anybody else. So when Dr. Yusim comes on, yeah, she knows what I've been through, and I do seek some sort of therapy. And I think most of us do need some sort of therapy, right, Mary?
Absolutely.
And people are afraid to ask, because would you find, Dr. Yusim, that if people go out and seek therapy, that they're going to be typecast or stereotyped or not? What's the word I'm looking for? Labeled. Yeah, labeled in some way because they're seeking therapy.
Yes, absolutely. There still is such a stigma, sadly,
that's the
to
word
people getting the care that they need. Yes, and I also want to say, Marianne, the fact that you are indeed sharing over time, over the months that we've worked together on air about your own process, it's such a beautiful thing, because what you are feeling, probably so many other people who've experienced loss have felt, and you putting it into words and sharing it so openly and honestly with me and with the listeners is a really big deal. It's a lot of vulnerability that you're putting out there, and it's very beautiful.
But it's because like I said, 22 years here. I've built up a lot of friends, family with listeners. Our radio station here, Dr. Yusim, has always been, we know listeners by voices. We know listeners by name. We've been out and about with them. And I feel so comfortable on the radio. Some people will say, Bob would always say, Mary, you don't care what you say, you just blurt it out. You don't realize you're on the radio. That's how comfortable I do feel. So sharing my feelings with everybody, thousands of who I don't even know. That just makes me feel good, and I'm not embarrassed about that.
And what's beautiful about you sharing, Marianne, is that not everyone has even one supportive relationship. Mm-hmm. And so you're blessed to have so many, and you are maybe that supportive relationship to someone who doesn't have anyone to talk with or listen to or hear about these things. And the truth is we can all benefit from better mental health, no matter what the situation is. And some of us just, keep it in, keep quiet. So you sharing is just a blessing to so many.
Oh, thank you. Well, that makes me feel better. Dr.
Good.
Yusim, do you have children that come to you, or are you more of adult?
So the youngest that I generally see is about 16 or 17 years old. So older teenagers and mostly adults.
All right. All right, let's talk about your book. Let's let our listener friends know if they want to know more about Dr. Anna Yusim, where they can find you, how they can find you, a Facebook page, a website, a telephone number.
Sure. I'll give you all of that. And I am on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, under my name, and also I have a website, which is also my name, Anna Yusim, ANNAYUSIM as in Mary.com. And my phone number is 917-727-9437.
All right, now you are based out of New York. We're here in New Jersey. If someone was to call you, do you do any kind of I don't want to say readings? That's a psychic, but do you do any kind of sessions over the phone, almost like we're doing here on the radio? Or not really?
It's complicated because my medical license is in New York City, so I'm actually only licensed to work in New York. But that being said, I have plenty of patients in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York who come in to see me, and also Connecticut all the time because it's not too far away. So if people are able to come to the city for an appointment, absolutely. And then we can do some follow-ups by phone, etc.
Okay. All right. Well, Dr. Yusim, again, I appreciate you coming on here with us, if not just for personal reasons, because I do feel better after I talk to you, but hopefully a listener friend too will, just open up and say, hey, I'm not alone. I'm not the only one that feels this way. And so now I'll say, remember to count your blessings and not your troubles. If you see someone without a smile, give them one of yours. Have a wonderful day. And if you meet a nurse or a home health aide, say thank you from all of us here at Preferred Company.
Thanks for watching Preferred Company. For more information or to inquire about the services offered by Preferred Home Healthcare and Nursing, call 1-800-603-CARE.
1-800-603-CARE.
That's 1-800-603-2273 or visit preferredcares.com. Friend Preferred Home Healthcare and Nursing Services on Facebook and follow them on Twitter.